Hi there folks, welcome to part 11 of Super Mario World. So, we need to go through the sunken ghost ship in order to get to the Valley of Bowser, according to the narration subtitle thingy that we got at the end of Wendy-O Koopa's castle. So, this is just like a ghost house, pretty much, except it's underwater, and we can take Yoshi with us, and I recommend holding on to Yoshi because, well, makes this part a lot more bearable, mostly because, you know, you can re-obtain Yoshi.
Oh.
And then he just acts as additional health. Honestly, though, this isn't really that bad. Just go really slow. They give you way more time than you'll ever need, but go really slow. And usually there's a gap you can get to within, within half a second or so in order to not get hit, because it's not until they're done materializing, the boos that is, that you actually take a hit from them. So you don't need to worry too much. Just go slow, and yeah, it shouldn't really be any kind of a problem. This is the only hard part of the sunken ghost ship. It's really not that hard. Which is a pity. You'd think this would be one of the hardest levels in this game, right? I mean, it's a sunken pirate ghost ship. I don't know if it's pirate, but still, it's a sunken ghost ship. This part would be a little intense, except you just gotta remember that, you don't have to go all the way up. You can just sit there floating, treading water. There's only the two boos who will chase you, and yeah. We're officially out of the hardest part. From this point on, we're just falling invincible style. We're just trying to run into shit and get lives. It's pretty fantastic. I'd recommend hanging out more towards the middle, though, just because, well, you'll get access to something that will help with the second half of falling, and that's another star. Huzzah! And really, now it's just grab the coins. And that was it. The sunken ghost ship's really not that hard once you get past the part with all the ghosts that appear. I love that, by the way. Anywho, we're now in the Valley of Bowser. This is the last part of Dinosaur Land, and the last set of levels. Also, I haven't really gotten to show this off. I love doing this with Yoshi and hopping on the sport guys' heads. So this level's actually very maze-like. In fact, quite a few of the levels in the Valley of Bowser are pretty maze-like. But this one has a lot of branching pathways. I'm not sure how many ways through the level there are, but I do know there's at least, of course, one way through, but there might be like 2, maybe 3 ways through. Honestly, I really don't remember. I know. Oh, jeez, excuse me. And you're going to want to ride on the mole guy here in order to get through. A really good tip to know is that Yoshi can eat these big guys. You wouldn't think he'd be able to simply because of their massive size. But no, Yoshi can eat them. Yoshi can eat them. So that'll be helpful, but you do have to be careful because you don't want to accidentally eat one that you need. In other words, you don't want to eat the one you have to ride to get across the black clamping, chomping plants. I don't know what they're called. Ah, damn it. I almost was able to pull it off with 2. Oh! And I ran into the mole. Damn it. But yeah, it's a very simplistic level. Well, simplistic's not the right word. It's not an overly difficult level, but it is very maze-like. It's very easy to get lost in. So let's try the bonus game again. Hopefully I won't... Hopefully I fucking won't keep yawning. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really tired. I'm gonna be going to bed after this. But I got a life. I was gonna say, hopefully I, you know, don't get 0 lives again. But anyway. Valley of Bowser 2 is a very long level. It is a very long level. And we do have to go through it twice. Now, if you're just looking to go through it and not take the alternative exit, then you're going to want to bring Yoshi with you because it cuts the amount of time down for this stage by a drastic amount. And I mean just a drastic amount. So you want to do your best to hold on to Yoshi. Oh, good God, excuse me. This first part's really not that bad. Just some bats at the top and a bunch of Koopa Troopas. Really not that bad. At this point, there is a hidden block in the top left, which will kick out, obviously, either a mushroom or else a flower. Wait, what? What the heck happened there? No, seriously, what the fuck happened there? I got on top of the block, and then I just died. No idea why, no idea how, I just up and died. Luckily, I already got the halfway point, but this means that I can't use Yoshi to speed through this stage. At least not the normal way. This means I'm just gonna go for the, excuse me. This just means I'm gonna go for the alternative exit. And this part right here is quite difficult. You have to really plan ahead how you're gonna do it because, well, as you're seeing, you're technically only in one hallway that's moving up and down, and it's very easy to get crushed. And if you get crushed, that's an instant kill. And so you got to keep in mind which way it's going, whether it's going up or it's going down, what there is in that path. See, like right now, if I would have gone to the right and tried to run it, I would have gotten smushed because, well, yeah, I just would have. But I wait for it to go down, and then I get access to a little gap. It's slow enough that you have more than enough time to plan out your moves, but you do gotta be a little quick on the draw here. Because it really doesn't take much to get smushed, and unfortunately this does take quite a bit of time for this stage. And yeah. It's really not that complicated, but it is a bit, tense, I guess you could say, because it really doesn't take much to fuck this up. See, I almost fucked it up right there. I actually could have gone, but I waited too long, and so I wasn't confident that I could have made it. Luckily, I think we're actually almost done with this. I'll go ahead and start talking about it now, but this stage's alternative exit is probably the second hardest to find. Which, it makes sense why it is, because it does take you to, to something, well, something that a lot of folks consider one of the hardest levels in the game, but yeah, we'll get to that right here now. Like I just said, a lot of folks consider this to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest level in the game, and I won't argue, it is difficult, but hardest level in the game? Come on. It's nowhere near one of the hardest levels in the game. But it is very difficult, nonetheless. Lots of these weird I don't even know if that's the right word, but these weird spike pillar things, smashing devices. Lots of spikes, lots of, well, not lots, but enough dry bones. And tense situations such as this. You need to not use the glide here. Maybe that's why people have so much trouble with this place. You need to not use the glide, because if you glide, you will not have enough time to get through without getting hit. Like, that situation right there, you just have to jump. You gotta be jumping to take it. To get past all three of those pillar things without getting hit. That was a stupid hit on my part. But yeah, you really can't be using the glide. It will fuck you over. At this point, you gotta be watching out for the fireballs as well as the pillars. And right here is where it starts getting harder to get through. Like that. I'm actually surprised that I didn't get hit right there, because I usually do. I usually do take a hit on that part. But I managed to get through without taking said hit. So yeah. Anywho, as for the boss, this is the last time we're going to be seeing these guys. This is the final battle with Reznor. Let's see if they can take revenge. It's not looking too good, is it? That shot was nowhere near me. But that was a pretty good shot on their part. Well, even though we did indeed whoop them and whatnot, they were able to hit me, so I guess you could say they got revenge in a shitty way. But yeah, a lot of folks consider that one of the hardest levels in the game. I don't agree at all. But by beating it, it takes us to the back door of Bowser's castle. I'm leaving this part in. I'm actually going back to grab a Yoshi because, well, I don't want to go through the long part of that level again because we got to beat it the normal way now. But yeah, the back door of Yoshi, the back door of Bowser's castle will actually take you to the second half, or is it like the last third of his castle? I forget, but basically, it takes you to a point where you just have to go through a minor amount of level, and then you can fight Bowser. And so I could actually beat this game in this part if I so chose, because Bowser's a fucking pushover, but we'll get to that. But because I am playing every level, we're not doing that. So yeah, I'm doing my best to hold on to Yoshi because, again, this level's pretty long already. And I really just don't even want to go through the part where you gotta time when you run and everything. I don't even want to do that. Luckily, as long as you have Yoshi, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that because, well, you just don't. You can take advantage of the wings. This is the only other level, other than the other one that had a really shitty alternative exit, actually. Which was, I forget the name. It was Cheese Bridge, I want to say. I forget. But yeah, we jump into the wings. Yoshi and Mario go flying up to the sky, and our green Yoshi is transformed into the special purple Yoshi. Far and away the best Yoshi in this game, which we'll be seeing exactly why before you know it. But anywho, at this point, you've pretty much already beaten the level. Even if you fall down, which I don't know why you would, you get to control when you're flying up. But anyway, you still pretty much win. Because you can't die, it just ends the little bonus early. And yeah. Anywho, we now have the Valley Ghost House. A potentially confusing ghost house, but not really one that I'd consider difficult, per se. Something that I learned not too long ago, because I'm subscribed to Wood to the Core, and he did a Game Boy Advance version of Super Mario World. Like a live playthrough. It's pretty fantastic. I'll post a link in probably the top left corner. But I learned that you can actually spin jump, at least in that version, off of the green ectoplasm ghosts. I did not know that. I'm not sure if you can in the Super Nintendo version, because I actually recorded this long before I watched his playthrough. But yeah, that's another thing I don't think I've mentioned, is that this game's also actually on the Game Boy Advance, and it seems like it's a pretty decent port slash remake. It's kind of a remake, but It's a pretty decent port of Super Mario World, so if you're looking for an excellent Mario game for the Game Boy Advance, well, I'd have to question why, since, you know, there are DSs and 3DSs now, but I do know you can get Super Mario World. Anywho, the Valley Ghost House, as you saw, very easy to go through, really nothing to worry about. If there is an alternative exit in that ghost house, I don't know about it and I don't care. It would just take us to castle number 7. But this is the glorious thing about the purple Yoshi. Anytime it eats a shell, any color shell, it doesn't have to be blue, it gets the wings and it can fly. Now, this is very cheap for this level, actually, because, well, as you can see, this level's whole gimmick is riding these moving, floating platforms that each one has a timer. It's either going to be a 1 or a 4, and so, yeah, it's really all about just riding platform to platform. It's actually a very fun level, but, you know, I figured I'd go ahead and show off the purple Yoshi, because I don't think I have yet. Granted, it's not all that different from the cape, except it's much easier to control. And yeah, it makes platforming an absolute joke, even more so than the cape. The purple Yoshi's far and away the most overpowered and the most broken Yoshi, and I fucking love it. However, though, Yoshi will eventually swallow the shell, so you do have to keep that in mind. While it's true you can control him flying, it's very easy to control. Anything you eat pretty much will give him wings. It will run out because he will eat the shells. Like, he will swallow them, so yeah. Unfortunate, but hey, you know, they had to put some kind of limitation, and even then, that's not really that big of a deal. Any folks will finish up the Valley of Bowser in Part 12. I'll see you folks then.